Imagine pulling up to your dream home after a grueling trip, only to find a stranger's luxury SUV hogging your spot. Your lights blazing like a bad party, and the unmistakable screech of off-key karaoke echoing from your own shower. That's the nightmare that slapped me awake when I discovered my HOA overlord treating my inheritance like her personal Airbnb, complete with wine raids and a cop sidekick. Meet Alex Thompson, a 45-year-old software engineer who just clawed his way out of a messy divorce that left him with more debt than dignity. When my eccentric Uncle Harold kicked the bucket and left me his sprawling 4,500-square-foot colonial in Willow Creek Estates, a cookie-cutter suburb where every lawn looked like it was manicured by elves on Adderall, I thought I'd hit the jackpot. The place screamed old money, creaky oak floors that whispered secrets, a wraparound porch perfect for lazy Sundays, and a backyard big enough for barbecues that didn't end in noise complaints. But Willow Creek wasn't paradise, it was a pressure cooker disguised as picket fences, where the Homeowners Association ruled with an iron fist wrapped in velvet gloves of community standards. The air always carried that faint whiff of fresh-cut grass mixed with simmering resentment, as neighbors eyed each other's holiday lights like they were judging Olympic dives. From day one, the citations started trickling in like unwanted junk mail. My uncle's faded red front door? Apparently, it violated the sacred beige and earth tone palette decreed in some dusty HOA Bible. I opened my mailbox to find a crisp envelope from the board, signed by none other than Patricia Hargrove, the 55-year-old HOA president who'd reigned supreme for a decade. Patricia was the epitome of suburban royalty, pearl earrings that could double as weapons, a perpetual smile that never reached her eyes, and a wardrobe of pastel power suits that screamed I'm in charge. And don't you forget it, she lived in a modest split level on the cul-de-sac's edge. Nothing like the grand colonials dotting the main drag. And rumor had it that gnawed at her like a bad itch. Welcome to Willow Creek, Alex, she'd said during her inaugural ambush, clipboard in hand, as I hauled boxes from my beat-up truck. Her voice was honey-sweet, but her eyes scanned my property like a hawk spotting a mouse. We're all about maintaining property values here. That door of yours, it's a real eyesore. Fines $200 if not corrected in 7 days. I bit my tongue, figuring it was newbie hazing. Painted the door taupe that weekend, even though it made the house look like a depressed camel. But Patricia wasn't done. Next came the gripe about my recycling bins peeking out from the garage after dusk. Visibility standards. Dear, she cooed over the phone, her tone dripping with faux concern. We wouldn't want the neighborhood looking like a landfill. Now would we? Never mind that half the street left theirs out till dawn, old-timers with lifetime passes. Apparently. Then my daughter Mia's weekend sleepovers drew fire, excessive foot traffic, Patricia huffed in an email, as if 16-year-old girls giggling over pizza were a gang summit. And when UPS dropped off server parts for my remote freelance gig? Commercial disturbance, she declared, slapping on a $300 warning. It was clear as day, Patricia played favorites, letting her cronies slide while newcomers like me got the full inquisition. Whispers from the mailbox cluster confirmed it. Beth, the retired librarian next door with her sensible cardigans and endless supply of herbal tea, leaned in one morning. She's got a thing for control. Alex, new blood threatens her throne. Just keep your head down. I did. Mostly. Nodded politely at block parties where Patricia held court, pontificating on upholding traditions like she was guarding the Constitution. But inside, I observed, logged every citation, every snide remark. My software background taught me patience. Bugs don't fix themselves overnight. When a month-long coding conference in Berlin popped up, I cut it short by 2 weeks, eager to crash in my own bed. Told only Beth and Mia. Somehow, Patricia sniffed it out. The night before takeoff. She swung by with a casserole that smelled suspiciously like obligation. Travel safe. Alex. Houses like this shouldn't sit empty, tempts trouble. Her eyes lingered on my foyer a beat too long. I've got alarms, I said flatly. She smiled that shark grin. Community watch is what we do best. Jet-lagged and cranky. I rolled up at midnight. 2 weeks early. The house glowed like a discount casino. Thumping bass from what sounded like my sound system. And there, in my driveway, squatted a pearl-white Lexus. License plate screaming vanity, HOA queen. Heart pounding. I slipped in through the side gate, old habit from Uncle's poker nights. The kitchen hit me first, takeout boxes piled like Jenga towers on my quartz counters. My best scotch half empty on the island. Upstairs. Steam billowed from the master bath, accompanied by a warbling rendition of some 80s power ballad. That perfume, Patricia's signature Roseanne Regret cloud, choked the air. I crept closer. Phone recording. Patricia? I called. Voice steady as steel. The water shut off like a guillotine. A muffled curse. Then silence. She emerged dripping in my plush robe. The one Mia got me for Father's Day. Her makeup smudged like a bad watercolor. Alex. You're early. Her eyes darted, clutching the fabric like a shield. What's this community service? I nodded at the empty bottle of my vintage Cabernet on the nightstand. She straightened, summoning that boardroom poise. There was a vandalism alert in the area. As president, I have discretionary oversight for vacant properties. It's in the bylaws, protecting values. You know. Show me the bylaw. She huffed to my study, yanking a folder from a drawer she'd clearly rifled through. Here, emergency protocol agreement. The paper bore my signature, but the loop on the was all wrong. Like a kid forging a report card. Nice try, I said, zooming in on my phone. But forgery's my day job specialty, pixel analysis doesn't lie. That's when the guest toilet flushed. Out sauntered Officer Rick Malone. Badge gleaming. Belt creaking under his paunch, the same Rick who'd grilled hot dogs at last summer's picnic. Married with kids. The neighborhood's good cop. Problem here. Pat, he drawled. Hand on his holster like a bad western. The puzzle snapped, not just squatting, but a full-on racket with blue line backup. Rick. You're in my house. Off duty but armed. Permission? He shifted, boots scuffing my rug. She said you authorized house sitting. Patricia chimed in, voice pitching up, exactly. Community safety first. I held up my phone. Recording. Your chief know about moonlighting and fraud? Their faces drained like faulty plumbing, Patricia's turning beet red. Rick mumbling excuses. I changed locks that night. But sleep? Forget it. Every creak screamed invasion. Dawn brought clarity, and ammo. While the locksmith buzzed away, I dove into Uncle's old journals, stashed in the attic like buried treasure. Harold had chronicled everything, board meetings, Patricia's petty tyrannies. Even whispers of her using vacant homes as showpieces for her side hustle in real estate. She's got keys to half the street, one entry read. Watch your back. Beth confirmed over coffee, she bragged at book club about borrowing your place for a client dinner. Said you were renting it out post-divorce, poor Alex. Needs the cash. The violation burned, not just space, but my rep smeared like cheap graffiti. My security cams? Tampered with pro-level precision, wires rerouted. Not cut. Someone paid for that silence. By noon, Patricia fired back, an emergency HOA summons taped to my door, accusing me of hostile conduct toward officials. The meeting that evening? A farce in the community hall. Fluorescent lights buzzing like angry bees. Patricia throned at the head table, flanked by her yes-men, 2 realty clients and her dim-bulb sister-in-law. Only old Mr. Ellis, the widower with the hearing aid, looked dubious. "Alex," she intoned, voice laced with mock pity. "Your outburst last night disturbed the peace. Officer Malone's report details threats. The report was pure fiction, me as the raging intruder in my own home." "Witnesses?" I asked. She waved vaguely. "Confidential. And the bylaw for home invasions?" More shuffling papers. "Broad powers for emergencies." Her sister-in-law piped up, "We don't explain to rule breakers." The vote? 4-1 fine of $1,200 plus oversight fees. Ellis dissented, muttering, "This stinks." Outside, he whispered, "She's pulled this on others, folks sold up and fled." "Fight it, son." Fight I did. Next day, I stormed into Attorney Lisa Chen's office. Box of evidence in tow. Lisa, a shark in HOA waters, grinned like Christmas. Classic overreach. No such emergency clause exists. Digging deeper, Patricia's fees were a ghost, 3 years of phantom charges, funneled to bogus vendors. Emails surfaced, her plotting with Rick to persuade dissenters. While Lisa prepped subpoenas, Patricia escalated like a bad sequel. Anonymous tips flooded my inbox, neighborhood watch spies snapping pics of me as friends, claiming loitering. Then a child services knock, false report of neglect during my trips. The social worker, Ms. Diaz, toured the house, chatted with Mia, who aced it with teen wit, "Dad's fine. But our HOA's the real danger." Report? Glowing. Backfire City, now official proof of harassment. But Patricia, cornered rat, went nuclear. System crash, she wailed at a snap board meet. All finances gone. Suspicious as a midnight snack. My tech skills shone, recovered drives revealed the empire, fake invoices. Home takeovers 4 showings. A hit list of troublesome owners. Browser history? How to wipe hard drives permanently. Gold. She pushed for $10,000 crisis levies per home, blaming my frivolous suit. Neighbors grumbled, elderly folks like Ellis couldn't swing it. The showdown brewed at the packed hall meet. Air thick with sweat and stale coffee. 40 residents crammed in. Murmurs rising. Ellis stood, motioned to boot Patricia for fraud. Vote, landslide oust. Her sister followed. But the cherry? FBI agent Torres striding in. Warrant flashing. Ms. Hargrove, you're under arrest for fraud. Conspiracy. Cuffs clicked, she screeched. This is Alex's witch hunt. He's ruining our standards. The room erupted in boos, her mask shattered. 6 months on. Patricia got 15 months federal time. License yanked. Restitution $110,000. Rick? Demoted. Pension toast. We reformed the HOA, transparent audits. No conflicts. Property values soared, not from fear, but fairness. Mia and I hosted our first real bash. Laughter drowning old ghosts. Uncle Harold's house? A hub again. But tell me, when HOA protectors become predators, are they guardians or glorified grifters? Who's the real threat to community, rule breakers or rule makers gone rogue?